Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you for tuning in to Canal Algérie's Nightly News. Here are tonight's top stories. The President of the Republic reiterates Algeria's commitment to continue contributing in the continental work done so far while taking over the rotating presidency of the Forum of Heads of State and Government of the African Peer Review Mechanism. The President of the Republic appoints Hamza bin Hamouda as the new CEO of the Algerian Airlines company Air Algérie. Representing the President of the Republic, Army General Said Shingriha, the PNA Chief of Staff, continues his official visit to Saudi Arabia. And the Zionist occupier keeps shedding the blood of innocent civilians while the death toll soaring to over 27,000 amid the radio silence of the international community. Welcome again. We begin with tonight's breaking story where the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, took from his Sierra Leonean counterpart, Julius Maada, the rotating presidency of the Forum of Heads of State and Government of the African Peer Review Mechanism Forum during a meeting held via video conference. The head of state reiterated Algeria's commitment to carry on the same values and principles of this unique mechanism. Midi Sakabash will tell us more about the head of state's speech on the occasion.
The President of the Republic affirmed in his keynote speech delivered on this occasion that Algeria has always believed in the values, principles and objectives of this African mechanism, which represents a favorable space for dialogue, the exchange of ideas and views to find solutions for the challenges encountered by the continent.
أن أتقدم بتوجيه تشكراتي الحارة لأخي وصديقي الرئيس جوليوس مادا بيو.
President Tebboune thanked in his speech the Sierra Leonean President, Julius Maada Bio, for leading this African peer review mechanism from the period of 2022 until February 2024, ensuring that the efforts will continue to assume this noble and sensitive mission within a continental context marked with multiple challenges, notably in terms of development, security, stability, good governance, as well as the anti-constitutional changes.
تتعلق أساساً بالتنمية والأمن والاستقرار والحكم الراشد والتغييرات غير الدستورية لأنظمة الحكم. بالمناسبة لا يفوتني أن أشيد أيضاً بالمساهمة الفعالة لأخي العزيز سيريل رامافوزا.
On this occasion, the President of the Republic also hailed the efforts deployed by the South African President, Cyril Ramaphosa, during his presidency of this African mechanism during the period of 2020 till 2022, which added a new impetus to our forum.
وفعالية جديدة وعلى عمل منتدى.
The head of state affirmed that the African peer review mechanism is unique and represents a space for dialogue and exchange visions, ideas, but also a safe space where parties could support each other and find settlements to the challenges faced by our continent.
والتأييد والدعم لإيجاد الحلول للتحديات التي تواجهنا دولا وأقاليم وقارة.
The President of the Republic ensured that during his presidency, Algeria will work with great sense of responsibility, self-sacrifice and commitment for the African peer review mechanism to effectively contribute to the continental action and guarantee stability, prosperity and complete the decolonization process at the heart of the African continent.
واستكمال مسار إنهاء الاستعمار في ربوع قارتنا الإفريقية الغالية. أتطلع كذلك في إطار عملنا الجماعي.
President Tebboune affirmed as well his commitment to pursue all operations aimed at positively stimulate this African mechanism so as to make it a means to reinforce unity, self-determination, liberty, development and prosperity for all African men and women.
والحرية والتقدم والرخاء الجماعي لكل بنات وأبناء إفريقيا.
In a separate development, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, appointed Hamza bin Hamouda, the head of the National Airlines Company, Algérie, as the Chief Executive Officer. Representing the President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, Army General Saïd Chegriha, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, continues his official visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, during which he visited 2 Saudi Arabian companies. More details with Melissa Kepesh.
Today's visit began at the advanced electronic company SAMI, where Army General visited the company's various workshops and received detailed explanations on its different products linked mainly to the fields of communication systems, energy, information, and cybersecurity. Subsequently, Army General followed a presentation on the company and its development plan. At the end of this visit, symbolic gifts were exchanged. As for the second step, it took place at the level of the Middle East Maintenance and Aircraft Engine Company, where Army General, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, followed a detailed presentation on the company and its different missions, including the maintenance of transport planes, jet fighters, and helicopters. At the end, Army General took a souvenir photo with the company's officials before exchanging symbolic gifts.
In implementation of the commitments of the President of the Republic related to the promotion of investment and the improvement of the business climate, the Algerian Agency for the Promotion of Exports is to launch tomorrow, Thursday, the digital platform for the investor, intended to provide transparency as much as possible in managing the access demands to economic real estate, according to a communiqué by the services of the Premier. In the framework of the preparations of the 7th Summit of the Heads of State and Government of the gas exporting countries, the Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf received the Secretary General of the Gas Exporting Countries Forum, Mohammed Hamil. The Vice Chancellor of Germany, Federal Minister of Economic Affairs and Climate Action, Robert Habeck, began an official visit to our country, accompanied by a high-level delegation composed of the ministry's officials, various executives of the sector of economy, and managers of the biggest energy companies in Germany. The delegation was welcomed at the VIP lounge of the Houari Boumediene International Airport by the Minister of Energy and Mines, Mohammed Arqab, and officials of the ministry. Bilateral meetings between the minister's high-ranking officials and experts are on the agenda, in addition to roundtables to discuss cooperation dossiers of mutual interest, as well as renewable energies, hydrogen development, in addition to the signing of a number of agreements between both parties. The Chief Executive Officer, or CEO, of the national company Sonatrach, Rashid Hashishi, inspected several projects in the eastern provinces of Annaba, Tarif, and Skikda, notably seawater desalination plants, fertilizers, and the manufacturing of new machines, with a view to boosting the sector now called upon to cope with the ongoing challenges in the field of energy. The Minister of Industry and Pharmaceutical Production, Ali Aoun, paid a working visit to the province of Al Jilfa, during which he underlined the potentials of the region in terms of investment. To that end, 7 new definitive exploitation authorizations on decisions to grant the exploiting right have been handed over to economic operators for projects in numerous sectors. On to the operational report of the People's National Army's activity in the past week. In the context of the fight against terrorism, detachments of the People's National Army arrested in Temenrast the terrorist named Wild Buksib Mukhtar, who was active in terrorist groups abroad. Other detachments arrested 7 support elements to terrorist groups during separate operations across the national territory. In the framework of the fight against organized crime and in continuation of the tireless efforts aimed at countering the scourge of drug trafficking in our country, combined detachments of the DNA intercepted in coordination with the different security services and operations across the military regions 55 drug traffickers and averted attempts to introduce 6 quintals and 10 kilograms of processed kief through the borders with Morocco, while 1.86 kilograms of cocaine and 184,800 psychotablet tablets were seized. In Tamaras, Burj Baji Mukhtar, Ingizam, and Janet, detachments of the People's National Army arrested 236 individuals and seized 26 vehicles, 187 generators, 112 jackhammers, 10 metal detectors, and 19 quintals of mixture of raw gold and stones, in addition to quantities of explosives, detonation tools, and other equipment used in illegal gold mining operations. On the other hand, 32 other individuals were arrested and 2 Kalashnikov submachine guns, 22 hunting rifles, 3 automatic pistols, in addition to 32,000 liters of fuel, as well as 53 tons of foodstuffs intended for smuggling and speculation, and 36 quintals of tobacco, in addition to 261,000 units of different beverages were seized in separate operations across the national territory. Similarly, border guards sorted at the level of our national coast attempts at illegal immigration of 148 individuals aboard traditionally made boats, while 352 illegal immigrants of different nationalities were arrested across the national territory. The General Caliph of the Tariqa Tijaniya or Brotherhood, Sheikh Sidi Ali Bilarabi, was received by the Speaker of the Mauritanian National Assembly, Mohammed Ben Meket, who indicated that the spiritual tie linking the two countries is a solid basis of the Algerian-Mauritanian relations. At the end of the meeting, Sheikh Bilarabi offered a copy of the Holy Quran published in Algeria to the Speaker of the Mauritanian National Assembly. A ceasefire in Gaza is about to be brokered. This is what the Prime Minister of Qatar hoped yesterday after unveiling positive reactions from Hamas on the framework of the agreement. What remains is the agreement of the other side, but at the same time, the bombings of the Zionist entity have not stopped, leading to new massacres of Palestinians in Gaza. Ines Killu.
The Zionist army has further intensified its murderous strikes today as aircraft and artillery belonging to the occupying forces continued to pound the neighborhoods of the towns of Rafah and Khan Yunis in the south of the Palestinian enclave. 12 innocent civilians were killed and dozens injured in Rafah. The majority of them are women and children. 123 people have been killed in the last 24 hours across the strip. The genocide continues for the 124th day in conjunction with the continuing attacks, and the Zionist entity is still blocking the arrival of humanitarian aid. Rafah is now a refuge for 1,300,000 displaced persons crammed together in indescribable conditions and who fear a ground assault at any moment. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres warned of further regional consequences of potential attack on the city that would exacerbate an already humanitarian nightmare. While the spotlight is on Gaza, in the occupied West Bank, assassinations and arbitrary arrests have never stopped. The Palestinian Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed that the failure of the international community is not only limited to its inability to put an end to the genocidal aggression against the Gaza Strip, but also to its inability to use the occupying forces to lift the restrictions imposed on citizens in the occupied West Bank. The minister recalled that the occupation is still imposing a long series of collective punishment on all civilians, including mass executions, homes demolition, land confiscation, and construction of new colonies, as well as the establishment of hundreds of fixed and mobile checkpoints on main road sections at the entrance of every town and village. At the same time, Egypt and Qatar are sponsoring a new round of negotiations in Cairo tomorrow between the Zionist entity and Hamas resistance movement, with the aim of achieving a cessation of the Zionist attacks on Gaza and an exchange of Palestinian prisoners and the occupiers' hostages.
A new unemployment rate record in Morocco. The rate has exceeded 30% since 2023, symptoms of an unprecedented economic and social crisis. The agricultural sector is particularly affected, and young people are the main victim, according to figures from High Commission of Morocco to the Moroccan Plan. Ines Killu followed the situation and has this for us.
The economic crisis that Morocco is experiencing has led to an increasing deterioration in the living conditions of Moroccans. The decline in agricultural production, as well as the decrease in tourism revenues, has had a devastating impact for many Moroccans who find themselves facing increasing vulnerability with serious social and economic consequences. The unemployment rate in Morocco is at its highest level since 2017, jumping from 11.8% to 13% between 2022 and 2023. Young people aged between 15 and 24 are the most affected by this situation, with the unemployment rate reaching 35.8%. According to the Supreme Planning Authority, 1,580,000 people are jobless in the country, according to the same source, while the Moroccan economy has lost 157,000 jobs, and these numbers are below, among other things, to the loss of 24,000 jobs recorded in the previous year. This is a worrying situation that has put more than half of Moroccan families under the poverty line.
Sports now. Nigeria is in the final game of the African Cup of Nations being held in Côte d'Ivoire after beating South Africa on penalty shootout with 4-2. The Green Eagles will take on Côte d'Ivoire victorious over the Democratic Republic of Congo with 1-0. End of the bulletin. Thank you to our technicians and journalists, and thank you for watching. Take care.